All right, we're live. Zach's a little distracted because I gave him some drops a knowledge or information bomb on him right out of nowhere. So while he processes that, I want to welcome everybody back to the Monkey Bar. It's been like a month since our last recording session, and a lot has happened since then. I think that even though it was at the bottom of the list of notes, I want to like jump into this real quick. But I just told Zach. It's about there's this thing like I think it was a couple weeks ago, or it might have been like 3 weeks ago. Was the Frank Hassel incident with Boogie 2988, and like I'm gonna go through this like from memory real quick. Is that it was basically just Frank Hassel is this noted sort of troll guy on Twitter, or I don't really know like if he does YouTube videos or I mean if he has a YouTube channel anymore, but. Yeah, he basically just likes to troll people, and he was like trolling Boogie 2988, and it escalated to where Boogie was like, "Oh, come to my house, motherfucker! I'll shoot you in self-defense." I mean, everything short of that. And long story short, Frank took that as an invitation, and he just strapped a GoPro to his head like a fucking maniac, and filmed him like going up to Boogie's door and asking to sit, and like yelling at him to come out, and like Boogie comes out with like a revolver. He points it at Frank, and he's like, "I'm gonna fire a warning shot." And then Frank's like, well, "Fire it now," because he gave him like a countdown. And he actually did like fire a warning shot. And this house was in like a school zone, and so it just ends up being, I don't know where it is right now. I think that Frank has been quiet because it's like been taken to court. But yeah, it's been this whole debacle, and it's been kind of yeah. I know that how you feel about Boogie, but
I like him. I like his stuff.
Yeah.
By the way, here's a rule of thumb for y'all. This is a little bit of legal advice. There is no such thing legally as a warning shot. You're better just shooting the motherfucker.
Yeah, that's exactly what was being brought up during this incident. I saw this a lot.
Yeah, and if you do fire a warning shot, tell them you missed.
Yeah, but it seemed like he was taking it in stride when people were like making memes about the incidents. Boogie was like, "Oh, send me all your memes." Like, it's like it makes me think like, was this an act or is he like coping or whatever? I don't know. It's just been like, it seems like the internet's been getting crazier this year.
Cool, dude.
Yeah, he's had a history of like mental problems, suicidal stuff, and all that stuff. Yeah. So like there is like this unhinged part that really can't really be ignored. I don't know. I think the internet just makes it amplifies.
It's been a fucked up year for everyone.
Yeah, like it seems like, as I was saying, it seems like the internet's just been getting crazier and crazier like this whole year. Oh yeah, we had an election.
I can't wait till Chris Chan makes a bomb.
Oh yeah, I think I heard Chris Chan, like something was going on with him. Oh yeah, like he told like Tara Strong to eat a bag of dicks on Twitter or something. I don't know. So yeah, he's still active. I mean, on the internet at least.
Let me check the quickie. Let's see what the newest thing is.
Yeah. Like, I haven't been back to the quickie in like a month. But he said something to Tara Strong.
He fucking voted for Lisa Simpson. What the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, I was tempted to write in Kanye when I voted.
Oh no! Oh, I'm sorry. That's like objectively fuck that. I don't want to get political. No.
I mean, even if you knew for sure he wasn't going to win, like 100%.
No, he fucking joined just to take away votes from Biden. That's his whole fucking purpose, was to be a meme vote distraction. That was the fucking plan with him. You cannot convince me otherwise.
Well, I mean, it didn't work.
I apologize. God, yeah.
Apparently. But getting away from that, let's talk about something equally contentious as the election. It was like the thing about John Cleese recently on Twitter. Apparently,
All right,
he
hold on.
like
I found the. All right.
yeah. Apparently, from what I heard, is that like he signed a letter that J.K. Rowling started or something about I don't know, trans stuff or something, and like he was sort of taking a stand with her about being harassed by said people. I don't know. Like I didn't know
So
the
he
specifics.
tweeted the response to the comment. The comment was, just let people be who they want to be. The comment he tweeted was, deep down, I just want to be a Cambodian policewoman. Is that allowed or am I being unrealistic?
I
That's kind of cunty.
mean, that's like the same thing as saying like I identify sexually as an attack helicopter. For me, it's like, oh, that's
Yeah.
it.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, I see what you're saying, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It did make me think about. Well, I mean, like I went to visit my dad, and he gave me this old box sets, VHS box set of Faulty Towers. So like it just gave me an excuse to post that. And it has a nice little quote by John Cleese on it too. I think it's like it's a really nice little quote. It's what I want to pull it up real quick on my end, which where he just says like what I like to do more than anything else is to really laugh. And I think that's sweet. I mean, say what you will about his opinions about social or political stuff, but yeah, I like John Cleese. He's always struck me as like this really delightful kind of guy. Just to, you know, he likes to, just make people. Oh, um, that got disconnected. I'll just go on from here. And it's a really nice box set too. I like the caricatures of him and the other actors on it. But yeah, it's John Cleese is a nice guy. I'm just gonna go into how much I like the things that I like and such. You can, like this is why I was so like hesitant to go back into doing these podcasts alone. This is why I need Zach, because I need somebody to bounce stuff off of. I need to bounce stuff off of. Need somebody to sit down and listen. But I was prepared to like do this show without Zach, which is why I actually had this prepared. So yeah, so yeah, for the rest of the show, until Zach shows up, this is what you're gonna get, and it pretty much perfectly encapsulates the tone of what this is going to be like. Yeah. But yeah, now that we got talking about John Cleese, let me just work up from the top of the list. Talking about video games. See, now I got to switch gears also kind of mentally because I'm no longer talking to somebody and I'm not like waiting to have a gap to for them to give their opinions or interject on that. Let me message Zach real quick because I don't think he got disconnected. I don't think he knows he got disconnected. He might be his internet might actually be out. I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait for him to come back. But yeah, in the news of video games, it has been a whole month or I think month and a half since the last. I mean, I haven't checked, but in the month and a half or month that's been since the last episode, which was a really terrible episode. Oh, here he is. I don't know if you saw the. Yeah, you can see the little icon there. Like I actually had this. I actually had this prepared in case you didn't show up. That's if I had to do the show by myself. And but
oh fucks. Sorry, it's raining, so my internet's fucking dying.
All right, I'll keep that on standby then. I was just talking about the new consoles that just came out.
Yeah. Oh fuck. Man. PS5 looking pretty fine.
Yeah. I was
But I
watching the.
also.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. Go on.
I was watching the Gigaboot stream. That was like, and they were comparing the. I mean, they were going off of another podcast or YouTube channel, which was Digital Foundry, and Digital Foundry tested the performance of the Xbox One, no, Xbox Series X. I don't know if you said Xbox One. I don't know if that got me fucked up, but it's Xbox Series X and Series S, the lower end model. But the Series X, they pitted against the PS5, and even though the Series X has like more like had better hardware, the PS5 actually performed better, and that was because of the SDK that either system used. The SDK for the Xbox, to my understanding, if I remember correctly, what they were saying, the SDK for the Xbox had to be downgraded. I mean, I don't know if like, don't get my ass, fanboys, if I'm wrong about this, but they had to do something with the SDK to make it compatible with the Xbox One and the PC. So, and I think it's like a lot newer than the PS5's SDK, which was a lot more like, which led to the software like taking advantage of the hardware more. So yeah, and there's the standard back and forth between the Xbox fanboys and PlayStation fanboys. It's a tale as old as Evangelion shippers.
God. Tale as old as fucking kaiju fans.
Really?
Yeah. Fucking heard about like fucking Godzilla and Gamera fans used to they purposely made sure that a Gamera and Godzilla movie would never be in theaters at the same time because of fucking fanboys.
Wow.
God.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get either system. Not for a while, at least. I'm probably going to get a PS5. Maybe like
when the prices drop.
Yeah, like 1 or 2 years from now, I can see myself getting one. Right now, I just want to upgrade my PC. But even that is going to be for probably not for a while. Not just financial reasons, but also just because you can't find anything right now. The new AMD processors, the 5000 series, and AMD also released new graphics cards. The not Ryzen, the whatever they're called, their new graphics cards with ray tracing. Them and Nvidia released new graphics cards just recently, and all of the hardware I just mentioned you can't find anywhere. I think you can like barely find, like stores barely have them in stock. Newegg's out of stock every time I look. But yeah, it's a disaster right now due to COVID, due to scalpers setting up bots. It's just awful everywhere. And so yeah, I don't really expect to upgrade my system for like another 6 months at the least. I mean, I could get the last gen stuff, the last gen processors, last gen. I mean, but the thing is, I don't really need any of that right now. I think the only thing I would need to play the game I want, the one game on my mind, I would probably just need to upgrade my graphics card. And even then, I wouldn't need to do that just for the highest fidelity settings. And the game on my mind right now is probably the one you're thinking of.
Alex?
That, yes.
I'm not sure.
But I was getting out Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Fuck. God damn.
Yeah.
I'm like, my face is making the exact face my avatar is like that. Ooh, shiny object. Ooh.
Yeah.
I make the face like what?
But yeah, what you say, boss poggers.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if I showed this on the stream, but yeah, there it is. Like I still find it horrifying.
Show it in the stream.
Yeah, it's there.
God.
I don't want to look at that. You probably like boss I imagine. Poggers. Yeah. But
imagine photoshopping that burned into your memory forever.
Like, did you Photoshop that or somebody else?
Someone else did after I made the joke, and they just sent it to me wordlessly.
I I know. Well, I mean,
And
I
I
know.
said, I'm sorry.
But yeah, I imagine that Cyberpunk slipped your mind because it's been delayed so many times. You probably forgot it was even coming out.
I got it
Uh,
pre-ordered for the Xbox.
yeah. I actually got trolled by there was like a Twitter post that went viral, and because they're like the CD Project Red put out a statement about they put out statements with the black text over the yellow backgrounds, like to
Oh, I know what
announce
you're
like
talking about.
it was like a fake account with like it was a CD Project Red with an underscore next to it, and so they said, you know, we will be delaying like due to like setbacks in production, we will be delaying Cyberpunk 2077 indefinitely. And it actually got a lot of people, including myself, which, you know, I'm like, you know, I tip my hat to you. I tip my fedora that you managed to bamboozle me at that. Yeah. But it looks like it actually is finally coming out in less than 2 weeks on December 6th.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait, to be, to fucking spend. Oh, I have to tell you this. I'm playing Fallout 76 because it's on
Mm-hmm.
Game Pass. I
Mm-hmm.
spent fucking 50 minutes in character creation making Vicky. Fucking internet died. And if your internet dies, it kicks you out of character creation.
Oh.
And I'm like, fuck it, she's blonde. That's it.
See, I thought she was blonde.
Well, no, that's my joke. I want to see what she. Hold on, I have to show you this.
Okay.
Um, I made her in Fallout 4, and I realized what Vicky would look like as a human, no one would willingly fuck her.
Hmm.
I'm sending this to you, and I want you to show it on stream.
I will.
When y'all talk about your post-apocalyptic women, this is what a post-apocalyptic raider woman looks like.
That is oddly fitting, yeah. Kind of what I picture her.
Yeah. I actually want to try and give us like a skull as a joke. I came up with what her father would be like, and he just basically amounts to Beetlejuice with more pyromania.
Yeah, that actually
The
does look
the
like a.
voice,
This actually does look like a female Beetlejuice. Yeah.
and I love it so much. If I ever do redesign her, I really do want to keep the dark eyes. I really like how that looks.
Yeah. But speaking about
God,
games that are great, I finished Postal 2.
fuck! I love Postal 2.
Yeah, yeah. I I haven't done Apocalypse Weekend yet or Paradise Lost. But I also have I did like for now I skipped that and went. I've been playing Postal 4, which is still in janky early access alpha, but they're coming along really nicely with what they're doing. Yeah, Running with Sisters is back. Postal is back, and it is janky, but it is still fun. I don't know if I'd say it's as fun as Postal 2 in its current build, but it's definitely crowning, I guess, to put it bluntly. To put that dirty image in your head, but fitting for Postal, yes.
Uh-huh.
But
You know,
yeah, it's I think that Postal 4 is being done on it's being done in Unreal 4. Um and yeah, like Postal 2 is surprisingly stable for what it is. I think that somebody like commented, I don't know where it was, but I saw recently somebody was like, you know, they described Postal 2's engine as being just cum rags glued together with duct tape. And it's like, yeah, it's just stapled together, you know. It's like, yeah, it makes sense. It's funny because, you know, like when I got back to Postal 2, I played it till the end with no crashes, and when I started a new game, it just crashed like twice in a row. So yeah, it is sort of like a coin flip with that engine, no matter how good your system is.
God, I always
Um, But yeah, I actually put together a favorite games chart, and Postal 2, I think, deserved a spot on it. I wanted to show it to you and see what you think.
Your favorite games chart?
Yeah.
Let's see. Ooh, ooh, oh, fucking really good choices.
Yeah.
I oh wow, classy choices.
Yeah. So I got Mario. I got Halo 3 and Mario 64. Halo 3. Mario 64 was actually the first game I ever owned. I don't think it's not the first game I ever played. The first game I ever played actually was the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers side-scrolling beat 'em up for the Super Nintendo. And I remember playing that at I think my cousin's house. I was actually 4 years old. So, yeah, but Mario 64 I got for my 5th birthday, and it's a game that it's not just. I don't think it's just nostalgia that makes you. I mean, it is an objectively good game. So yeah, it was definitely a winner for first ever video game. Um,
I finally remembered what the first game I played was. It was specifically Mortal Kombat. Hold on, let me check this. Let me check this.
mhm.
It was. I have to. Mortal Kombat trilogy
Hmm.
for the PlayStation. My
How old were you?
sister had it. I was like 6, and I couldn't do any of the fatalities. But
Mhm.
motherfucker, and I sucked at it. But I learned something. Ninja, good.
Yeah.
God,
And Halo
that
3.
game has everything a growing boy needs.
Oh
What?
yeah. I was just I wanted to go through each one of these and sort of give my description. I don't know. This is a little self-indulgent, so I'm just gonna skim past
No, do
them.
it, do it.
Oh, okay. Halo 3.
Yeah.
Halo 3 is my favorite of the Halo games, and I think it's the first. I mean, the Halo series was my first. I think it was my first-person shooter series on console. But Halo 3 was my favorite out of the trilogy. That's probably the best ending I've ever seen. One of the best endings I've ever seen in a video game. And yeah,
Halo,
it's fun and multiplayer. I mean, that was the first. I think that was my first multiplayer shooter too. So
is the most comfy game on your list because I just remember playing it with two of my cousins.
hmm.
They owned the game, and
Mhm.
I just remember we were going through the hardest difficulty trying to get all the skulls.
Uh-huh.
And I just remembered it was like the most, it was just relaxing hanging out.
Mhm.
It it just makes me remember the good old days.
Yeah, yeah. And Zelda Ocarina of Time. That was my first Zelda game, and I was kind of I was kind of debating whether to put that or Majora's Mask on there, but I sort of realized that Majora's Mask is a really good game, but in terms of like best Zelda and my favorite Zelda, I gotta go with Ocarina. It's a classical story that's
You
really yeah.
you fail our friendship. I would have put Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I know. I'm
God,
kind of a purist. Uh,
that is actually, I think that's how you can. There's two kinds of people. There are people who put Zelda Ocarina of Time, and then there are fucking degenerates.
and it's a very very close call. I will say that. Banjo Kazooie. I mean, everybody loves Banjo Kazooie. There are some people who don't like it, which I found out recently. But yeah, it's I still love Banjo Kazooie. It's fun. It's nostalgic, and it's still a good game in my opinion. I'm referring to Gigaboots. I think Dan from Gigaboots says he hates Banjo Kazooie. I think they did like a full stream playthrough of Banjo Kazooie, and he was like, I hate this thing or whatever. I guess he's not really a fan of collectathons, but I am. Damn it, it's real fun. It feels great to play. The sounds and everything, atmosphere. It all works for me. And
Banjo-Kazooie's okay. I I like the
just,
name Gruntilda. I really
yeah,
like the name Gruntilda.
yeah. I mean, there's so much in that game that's so iconic. Um, but another, like, the next one is probably going to catch some people by surprise. Is Beyond Good and Evil. Beyond Good and Evil is probably the most atmospheric game I've ever played. It's a game that is so like good at. I think I've gone over this before with when we were talking about the sequel, which apparently, I actually found out in the news that Michel Ancel, the guy who was the showrunner for Beyond Good and Evil 1 and 2, and he's a creative Rayman, but he was actually booted off the project for Beyond Good and Evil 2 because I guess his work output was really, really bad. I mean, I don't know if that's the truth or if that's I'm just assuming that, but sounds like a real auteur, which worked the first time around. But anyway, Beyond Good and Evil 1 is definitely one of my favorite games. It just has such a distinct atmosphere, and it's just so the sounds, the music, the world building. It's all really, really good, and I highly recommend anyone play it. Half-Life 2. This one was kind of like I got like one question about this because they asked me like why did I pick two over one, and it's because like everybody loves Half-Life 1. I think people now they're more iffy about 2 because of the sort of like the non-cutscenes. They're just you standing in a room while NPCs talk to you. And it's like that, like that is a bit of a slog, but everything else about Half-Life 2 I love a little bit more than Half-Life 1 because it's just like, as I said on Twitter, like the combat feels better, the world building is better, the atmosphere is better. So a lot of these games I picked are based on atmosphere. But yeah, Half-Life 2, I'll go back to Half-Life 2 and just play it for hours without realizing it. So I'll be like, oh, I'll just play this one level, and then before I even know it, I'm at the end of the game. So yeah, it belongs on my list. I actually remember I got Half-Life 2 in the original orange box, not the one you're thinking of with Team Fortress 2, but it was the clamshell with Half-Life Source, Half-Life 2, and Half-Life 2 Episode 1. So it's like, yeah, the orange box before the orange box. And yeah, I think, and that was actually what I think that required Steam to be installed. It was the first, yeah, it was my first introduction to Steam as well. So,
Man,
yeah, it's
Half-Life,
weird.
I wish I could have got into it earlier,
Mm-hmm.
before all the
Yeah.
memes ruined it.
Yeah. And I'll still be willing to shell out $1,000 to play Half-Life Alyx. San Andreas, and this is also kind of a controversial take, probably, because everybody loves Vice City. They say it's a lot better than San Andreas, but San Andreas was my first GTA. God damn it! And it's I think it's the only one of the 3 era that I've finished, and I just love exploring the world. I think it's like the perfect size, or I mean, it might be a little big, but it actually feels. Last time I played it, it feels bigger than Half-Life. It feels bigger than GTA 5.
It's definitely bigger than Scalp, but it's definitely bigger than Half-Life.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be up for debate. Depends on like if you did connect all the levels. I'm curious to see how that would stack up. But yeah, San Andreas, it feels like a whole state. Yeah, like you have all these densely packed areas spread out across a map, and it does. I think it does feel bigger than like GTA 5. So yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And I've been playing it on Steam intermittently. There's like a downgrader patch that helps it look better, weirdly enough. So check it out. Postal 2, another like really good sandbox game. I mean, I've talked about it already, so I'll skip it. But it's a good example of like a game not. Oh, Zach's gone. It's a good example of a game that doesn't need to be good to be fun. And okay, you're
I
back.
did a song called "Fuck My Internet."
But yeah, I was just saying, Postal 2 is a good example of a game that doesn't need to be good to be fun. Even though Postal 2 is pretty good, it's like technically broken a little bit. But so, just gonna leave that on the table. No More Heroes. That's also a good example. It's kind of in the same vein as Postal 2, and it's a sandbox. It's gory. That's on paper, like from a technical standpoint, shouldn't really be that fun, but it is just from the atmosphere and tone and writing. So yeah, when you think about the sandbox and No More Heroes is kind of empty and bad, but yeah, it's still a lot of fun to play anyway. I actually heard that it's coming out on. They're re-releasing that in No More Heroes 2 on Switch.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. Resident Evil 4, classic, pleb pick. But yeah, it basically set the standard for like third-person shooters forever when you think about it.
Oh.
And,
Actually, yeah.
I actually
It
first
changed
played.
horror forever.
Yeah, I actually played Resident Evil 4 for the first time on the Wii. So it was with the easy modes aiming system. Earthbound. It's one game that I'll cite as like a game where the writing is so good that it bypasses the it bypasses the like the gameplay.
Yeah, it makes up for the story's better than any flaw the gameplay might present.
Yeah, tone I think is what really carries Earthbound. The tone and the writing
I also and the
yeah,
character design. I like
and the
the bad guy.
characters, yeah, it all works really well, and it's a classic. Kingdom Hearts. This is like I will say this: the first game is great. It actually has a script. I don't know if I ever mentioned this to you, but the script for Kingdom Hearts 1 was written by the writer of Cowboy Bebop.
Oh fuck! Really?
And yeah, and the fact that she only wrote the first game and no games after that, it makes so much sense why the other games are the way they are. And it's Kingdom Hearts 1 is such a well-written game, and that's the reason why I love it way more than the sequels, and why you should never play the sequels and just play the first game. The combat is, the combat isn't the greatest, but it does its job really well, and the art direction is great, and yeah, just play that and don't play any of the other games. Star Fox 64, it's great. It's a great game. I love it. I haven't played it in a while though, so I'll have to go back and play it again. But yeah, I remember the mechanisms of how you play it. Like I don't know, from a technical standpoint, it's great. It feels great to play. Same with Sonic Adventure 2, in that I actually saw a video essay done by King K, this guy I follow on YouTube, and he was saying how Sonic Adventure 2 is his favorite Sonic game, and yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that. It's my favorite Sonic game, probably. I like it a lot. And let's see, Okami. I haven't played that in a while, but I remember just like it feeling it has great art direction, great gameplay. I'm powering through these because Zach has a headache, so I'm trying to wrap this up a little bit quick. And because
I'm sorry.
Because we got a lot of stuff to talk about on the list. Yeah, Kami's great, and Ape Escape is great too. It's like my favorite out of the rest of the Ape Escape games. It has the best tone, in my opinion. It has one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in a video game too.
I always liked Okami's art style, and by the way, Apex Thief is still a canon to Metal Gear.
Yeah, they had a crossover with 3. Both Metal Gear Solid 3 and Ape Escape 3. There was a crossover mini game in both of those. But yeah, that's my list. Now back to our regularly scheduled programming, I guess. Let's see. Oh yeah, there was this one game I was playing recently that I heard about through Oni Plays called Witch Hunt. I don't know if you heard about that.
No, what is that?
It's this game in Unity, this indie game that's this, I guess, this small team created that Oni Plays was showcasing as being a really atmospheric game that's kind of survival horror where you play as a guy who hunts down monsters and you eventually hunt down this witch. And then I guess that killed a devil child that she gives birth to. And it's a simplistic game. There's not a lot of detail to it, but it works for what it is. And I haven't finished it yet myself. I already saw the ending, but yeah, it's really interesting. You get a musket, which takes a long time to reload, and that sort of adds to the sort of suspense, survival horror feel to it.
Man.
Mm-hmm. But another game that I finished recently was River City Girls.
Oh man, Witch
Yeah,
Hunter looks up my alley.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I finished River City Girls, and I did not like it. It's yeah, it's by the end of the game, and I couldn't really tell if it's because like I'm not that experienced with side-scrolling beat 'em ups, but the combat was really not satisfying. It could be satisfying when it's done right, but there's a lot of bullshit moments with the combats where you get locked into a combo and you just have to wait for the guy to finish beating your ass. And it's like,
I know exactly what you're talking about. And do you know what the answer every fighting game gives you is?
Get good.
Get good. You know what the best system Mortal Kombat gave for that is? Most Mortal Kombat games give you a bar that has a feature called a combo breaker, which is a move where you just basically punch them in the fucking nuts and break out of a combo. That's fucking brilliant.
Like I think like there are some moments in River City Girls where you can counter a combo, but I can't tell if that's intentional or if it's on accident. And there's a lot of like fetch questing. There's it just feels like there's some parts where it's padding, but what really gets me is the writing. The main characters are just really, really unlikable, and by the end, I'm like, God, I don't want to deal with these people anymore, kind of deal. It just like the story is not very good, and I know that that's probably the least important part of a game. But when the gameplay isn't very satisfying, then that's usually what you fall back on. Like I was just saying with Earthbound or like Postal or that No More Heroes.
Gameplay should be a major focus, but good writing can elevate. Good writing can elevate mediocre gameplay.
Yeah, I just wasn't invested at all in the story or the characters, and that's really, really bad in my book. So like a game I thought of to like contrast with that is Fury. And I don't know if you've heard of or played Fury.
Fury.
Yeah, Furi. And I mean, it's a different game than River City Girls. It's instead of a side-scrolling beat 'em up, it's a boss rush fight, 3D boss rush fighter. And
yeah,
but the thing
I heard of it.
The thing is, Fury does a really good job at building tension and building suspense with each boss you beat. There's this sense of escalation, and it has one of the best final boss fights I've ever seen in a video game. It just nails it perfectly with the soundtrack and the tone, and just like the writing is great. It's minimal, but it's like, yeah, the tone is really, really good in that. And I wish that there was more of that in River City Girls. I wish that there was a sense of escalation. I mean, it's sort of played for laughs, but it isn't funny. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. And I just wish that there was something extra to keep me invested in River City Girls. It just ended up being a 5 out of 10 game for me. Fury is more of an 8 out of 10.
I see.
Yeah.
I wasn't huge on the River City series.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping that this game would get me invested in it because I remember playing River City Ransom on an emulator a while back, and it has that NES roughness to it, where it's like, this is not quite playable by today's standards kind of feeling to it. So I just wasn't invested in that. Like, even though, I was hoping to have that connection with it from Scott Pilgrim, which the remaster is coming out, I think, by the end of the year, maybe. They said holiday 2020, so it should be out sometime soon. I don't know if there's a specific date yet, though. Probably after Cyberpunk comes out. I remember Scott Pilgrim being really fun, so I'm really excited to experience that again. Moving on to, I wrote down the Drop as like this indie game that I played recently. I think I'll talk about that a little bit because I didn't play it that much. It was just kind of this really bad game. I was just thinking one night I was just thinking, God, I hate that game because I couldn't figure out what to do in it. And it just made me sort of go on a tangent in my head about, why I don't like indie games, or it was just making me think about, if I was making a video game, I would want it to be a game I would want to play. And the thing is, a lot of indie game developers, they don't really have the resources to do that. I mean, that's what I figure, because I've seen a lot of not very fun games be released by indie developers, or at least games that I wouldn't really want to play. So, but the thing is, you can't be too hard on them because, what else, they're trying to get the funds to make their next game. At least that's how I see it. I don't know. There are some exceptions to that rule, I guess. I don't even know if it is a rule. So I don't know. I just wanted to touch on that a little bit because, I don't really have much cohesive thoughts about that. Just, it's sort of the stigma I have against indie games. But
I like indie games a lot, but I've also been spoiled by finding a lot of really good ones recently.
Yeah. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing that there are a lot of good indie games.
I also have particularly low standards.
Mm-hmm.
My standards are cheap, and it has to involve giant monsters.
Yeah.
I'm kidding, but on the ladder, but God. Test Tube Titan's a really great game, for instance.
Oh, I'll check it out.
It was taken off Steam because he got into he wasn't particularly happy with Steam over some stuff they did.
Right.
But it's on itch.io. Fucking great game.
Huh. I don't know. I keep asking if anyone else knows that itch.io actually sells comics. Because
I know.
I see a lot of people. I was going to ask some indie comics creators I know, because a lot of them sell over Gumroad, and I was going to ask if they're aware that itch.io also does comics. I don't know. It seems to be to me, if I was going to when I eventually release a comic, it's going to. I might look at itch.io as a distribution thing along with Gumroad. I don't know if that'll compound it or what, but I'll be interested to do a little research on that. But moving on to movies, TV, anime, or YouTube, or whatever. I just want to shout out to one YouTube channel, The Real Gems. I don't know if I've done that already, but he did a video he does Simpsons videos on The Simpsons. and he did a video recently about the layout of the Simpsons house, 742 Evergreen Terrace, and just sort of like dissecting like official blueprints or speculated blueprints and figuring out, the general location of each room, because I don't really think about it when you're watching The Simpsons, like where each room is supposed to be. There's a sort of like, in some cases, they're rearranged for comedic effect or to like make a joke flow better. So it was interesting to see that. But I sort of cite
Kind of like
Jim.
when they talk.
Yeah, I sort of cite Jim's as a underrated channel.
When you're talking about how the layout of the Simpsons house, it's kind of like the layout of the Overlook Hotel.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. And other news,
Same
YouTube.
architect, they say.
Oh yeah. I mean, they've done some Shining references, so there's a connect. I mean, Simpsons has basically referenced everything at this point, so that's kind of a moot point. But moving on to YouTube news, I'm sad. We're saddened to say that the Shitty Web Comics channel was nuked by like a false copyright DMCA by a disgruntled comic book not writer writer Liam Gray. And I fear that by saying his name out loud and putting his name in the description and telling him to suck my walnuts is going to make him do the same to our channel. Well, I say bring it on. I'm not afraid of that. I mean, probably should have consulted you, but this is my channel, and I'm just going to make a call. There's a lot, like, Liam Gray is like
he only comes if you say his name 3 times.
He does look like a horror movie villain. But anyway, Liam Gray is like former Comicsgate, so he's a class act just already. But yeah, he's been having like a mental breakdown the past month just from. I mean, I think it was started by like him getting SWC's channel taken down, and from that he got expelled from Comicsgate because they were like getting negative attention from him from those actions of him just openly saying, I'm going to false DMCA this channel and I'll do it again. It's like him being like a real class act, like I said. He also copy struck Mike S. Miller and some other guy, I can't remember who. I'm kind of out of the loop on this Comicsgate crap. I try not to openly engage in these discussions, even though I have been on Vicky and DA Talks' streams and the SWC stream. I don't really say much there. It's not that I'm not trying to say, I'm too good to interject or talk, because I do sometimes. I just don't really have a lot to say on the subject. I'm just sort of along for the ride, I guess. But yeah, it's just been like this roller coaster ride that I've been. Or like this, not even a roller coaster ride, but just watching this ship sink into the Gulf of Australia or whatever.
Murky black.
Yeah, just sinking into the swamp. And it'll blow over. It's like, it's not going to stop people from making comics. It's not going to stop me from making comics. But it's fun to laugh at people again. This is what we're doing this stream, is we're teaching America to laugh at people again. Dropping the title here. And if you would like to donate to our Patreon, then here's the link. And if you want to donate one time to Ko-fi, here's the link to this also. All right. Okay. Anyway, yeah, that's all I have to say on that subject. Here I am again. But what's next on the list that we were going to talk about? Oh yeah, I was watching. Do you have any thoughts on Comicsgate?
My thought on Comicsgate is my thought in rats fucking in the attic. None whatsoever, unless I hear a lot of noise.
Yeah,
dude, there are these squirrels that I'm not sure what they're doing on the roof, but if I hear it in the early morning, I get kind of concerned for them. I want, like there's a ladder on the back of a house. I want to climb up the back and go, hey, you kids all right up there? Ruined the mood for a pair of squirrels.
Yeah, that's something you could do to make some money on Etsy. Just sell squirrel condoms.
Oh God.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, like, do you think? I mean, it probably is a thing, like dog condoms. It's like people who like dog owners who don't want to cut off their dog's nuts. It's
I'm
kind
gonna
of they.
Google that. I'm gonna regret Googling that.
Yeah, I'm happy to like put that in your search history.
Oh no. They do make dog condoms.
I knew it.
Oh no.
I knew it.
They make a hoop around the stick and you pull it over your dog. They call them dog wraps.
That's stupid. They should just call them dog condoms. I mean, dog wrap is like a. I mean, it sounds like a pig in a blanket. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just
Except
picturing
that
some dog going like, "Ruh-roh, what are you doing, Raggy?"
like it's like Scuba. Just put this on, or I'm gonna have to chop your walnuts off.
We all know the God, oh,
Would
because
you
I'm
do like
picturing the
would you do it for a Scooby snack?
God. You wait, hold on. Why the fuck are you putting a condom on a dog? Does that mean that you want your dog to just like have a fuck party?
Well, I mean, you can't be around your like keeping your dog indoors all day. Like I imagine that if you're gonna let your dog out in the yard, and in case he jumps into the neighbor's yard and like starts getting frisky with the neighbor's dog or whatever,
Okay,
you want to
I'm
like.
just picturing
Yeah.
some poor person going like, why the fuck is that dog wearing a rubber? Why did that dog come prepared?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know, like if you'd be surprised, but like there are like guys, like weird people who are like, proud of the size of their dog's testicles. They're like, man, I'm never like neutering my dog. My dog deserves to have a proud pair of balls.
Those are the kind of guys that need to be neutered with their dog. Them and the dog need to wear the same cone.
Well, they
So we
like the.
don't pull the stitches out.
I mean, the owner has to wear the cones around his hands. I mean,
Oh God.
unless the owner has a rib removed.
Oh. I remember when I first heard that joke, there was this thing called fan fiction firing squad for Ava, and someone made a joke about the reason why Shinji doesn't pursue any of the girls is because he had two of his ribs removed so he could suck his own cock.
Uh-huh.
God.
I think that like that comes from this rumor about Marilyn Manson, is that he had surgery to do that, which is false. But I think that's where it originates from.
Oh my
God. But moving on from this delightful topic, I wanted to talk about this movie that just jumped into my head like today when I was on the toilet. And it's this movie that I've seen like twice or at least 3 times against my will, which is John Q. It's this movie starring Denzel Washington and James Woods as the bad guy, kind of. And I want to like walk you through this, like just give my play-by-play of this movie from how I remember it. Is that, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So Denzel Washington plays average working man, John Q. Archibald. And they make a point to say his full name a couple of times through the movie just to, sort of like make you be like, oh, he's not just your average guy or whatever. He's a real person, man. But anyway, John Q has his wife, and he has a son who's like he plays baseball, and he's like this real tough kid who's like he just wants to be just like his dad. But then one day at baseball, when he's playing baseball, he's running down to the base and he has a heart condition attack or whatever, and he goes to the hospital and they find out, oh, his heart is just too big for his body. He's dying because
that's
his
a real
heart.
condition.
Yeah, but they make a point to be like his heart is just too big. Oh no, it's like, and so like John Q has to like get all the get band the community together to pay for his son's heart transplant, and then he gets all the money. I think he gets either he gets enough money, or it's like either he gets all the money, or it's like he's still at like the bottom of the waiting list. So like he confronts Dr. James Woods. And he's like, "Look, I gotta like I'm begging you. I'm giving you my word as a man. I'll pay. I'll pay. I'll make this even with you." And John and of course, evil James Woods is like, "No, I'm sorry, but this is unprofessional. I have to play it by the book." So then John Q, he pulls out a gun. He's like, "I'm going to take this whole hospital hostage until you fix my son." So then he like takes the waiting room hostage, and the waiting room is like full of like all these like basically every stereotype you would think of for like a cheesy movie about inner city people. There's like the homeless guy who's like crazy, but he's also kind of wise in his own way. And then there's the like the subplot about this like guy who's like abusive to his girlfriend. He has her like dress up in Barbie clothes and all that stuff, but then she eventually has to fight back against her male oppressor, and it's like and that like probably and I mean that comes from like it does deliver like probably one of my favorite lines in the movie, which is like the homeless guy is like, "Oh, this nigga from the Slapaho tribe." And I mean, it's not verbatim, but whatever. And it's like, and then like eventually, like with the police, they're negotiating with John Q. He's like, "No, I need my." It's sort of, I think the rest, like the whole, like rest of the like 2/3 of the movie are spent in this waiting room. So I think that's where most of their budget went. But and eventually, like they find like, and it's like this sort of, I think it is basically a Deus Ex Machina, because at the beginning of the film, the very beginning of the film, like it shows like this woman like driving across the country and like passing all these cars at like high speed, and she eventually like gets smushed by a semi truck that she hits accidentally. And that, so like right at the end of the movie, at the climax, like that same woman, it's revealed that she's being airlifted to a hospital, but her heart survives. And then it's like, oh, we're like, James Woods is like, okay, we're gonna like put her heart in your son. So now it's a miracle. And then of course the son is all right. The son's fine. And then John Q, he's gets taken to court, but then it's like he only gets because he's just so noble and brave and hardworking, he gets only 1 year in prison. Even though it is treated like it's like, oh no, I don't get to see my son for a year. But then the son's like, it's okay, Dad. And then like as he's being hauled away, his son like stands up and like flexes, because like that was like a callback to like his son's like, oh, I'm so strong, I'm gonna flex. And then like he's like being driven away, he looks in the rearview mirror and his son is flexing like, I'm strong, Dad. And then the movie ends. You can
I bet James Wood made it. Not James Wood. I fucking hate James Wood. I bet Denzel Washington made it somewhat okay.
Yeah, I mean he's a good actor. I mean, yeah, absolutely. But
I'll tell you what. There are few actors I dislike as much as James Wood.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he certainly has
There's
a
something
presence
about
on
him
Twitter.
I find.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, I think James Woods is a good actor too. Even if he is like, whether or not you think he's a good or bad person, I think he's a pretty good actor. I mean, I can't really picture Hades voiced by anyone else in Hercules.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but yeah, don't watch John Q unless you want like unless you want like what have friends to make fun of it with. I'm guessing. I haven't seen it in a while, and I don't really care to see it to see if it's any good. And nobody ever talks about it, so yeah, whatever. I just thought it would be fun to like give a play-by-play of it, and yeah, like moving on to something that I know I'm going to hate a lot more than that. Guess what book just came out recently?
What?
It's Ernest Cline presents Ready Player 2.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, it's like
Expect the
people
movie to come out.
yeah, people have been posting excerpts of the book on Twitter, and it looks about as bad as you can imagine. It looks like it actually might be worse than the original, just because the main character. Because at the end of the original book, the main character becomes like the CEO of the VR company or what, the Oasis company or whatever. And this is him as a rich CEO, just kind of abusing his power and doing whatever he wants. It's sort of a power fantasy, but for like rich people. It's like, like being a rich CEO of a company. And it's about as insufferable as it sounds. Yeah, like, yeah, like I said, I've been looking at excerpts on Twitter, and let me see if I can pull one up real quick if I can find it. Oh, here's the opening pages.
Can you hear me?
Huh?
Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, what?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. But yeah, that's the opening pages. I thanked the guards and told him he could go as I scanned the doors. There it was, number 42. Another of Halliday's jokes. According to one of his favorite novels, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the number 42 was the ultimate answer to life, the universe, and everything. I just stood there for a few seconds, reminding myself to breathe. Then I punched in the 7-digit combination from the egg's inscription onto the code pad beside the door. 8675309. A combination no self-respecting Gunter would have. I don't know what a Gunter is. I kind of don't think I want to know. But yeah, like a lot of it's just basically just more of the same of him just dumping pop culture references everywhere, and just here's another one. I like the image they went with. Let's see, my chest felt hollow. I closed all of the vidfeed windows and scanned Skylar's user profile for more information about her. Her school records included a scan of her birth certificate, which revealed another surprise. She'd been DMAB, designated male at birth. Discovering this minor detail didn't send me spiraling into a sexual identity crisis, the way it probably would have been when I was younger. Thanks to years of surfing the Oni nets, I now knew what it felt like to be all kinds of different people, having all different kinds of sex. I'd experienced sex with women while being another woman, and sex with men as both a woman and a man. I'd done playback of several different flavors of straight and gay and non-binary sex, just out of pure curiosity, and I'd come away with the same realization that most Oni users come away with. Passion was passion, and love was love, regardless of who the participants involved were, or what sort of body they were assigned at birth. It just comes across as like delightfully condescending. It's just ugh.
I get what they were going for, but holy fuck, there is a nuance that they are fucking missing.
Yeah, it's like look at how progressive I am. It just like really comes.
Oh no, fuck yeah, like oh fuck no, they fucking shame.
Yeah, actually, I was like watching. I mean, it doesn't really have much to do with this, but I was watching the Simpson. It was like a modern Simpsons episode, so I didn't finish it, but it was the one where comic book guy gets married, and seeing if I could sit through
Mhm.
that. And it's really boring. I mean, it's really nothing, not really spectacular news coming from like when describing a modern Simpsons episode. But yeah, I forgot how boring it was, and like a lot of episodes from like season 25 actually was, and yeah, it's a. I guess that sort of made me think of like nerd stuff, and just yeah. I think that I've decided to come out as a jock instead, because yeah, like there was probably a point in my life where I would have identified as a nerd, but no, I've transitioned to a jock.
God.
Uh, I'm kind of like I guess I am kind of in a jock mindset right now because I'm writing the. I just actually finished the script for the first volume of the Yesterday Kids, and I was surprised at how it turned out because it's a lot more centered around the sport of raiding than it was. So it actually is more like a sports comic than it was like an adventure comic. Even though it has like slice of life stuff in there, I was really surprised at how I was able to commit myself to a sport comic because I don't really like sports, but I do like this sports that I've invented, and it's sort of making me appreciate other sports too.
Hey, I have a question for you.
Yeah,
Um, so I've kind of been on a creative funk. I've been trying to fix that. Could I tell you a twist I've been working on for a fantasy project?
sure.
Are you familiar with what a kobold is?
Yeah.
So you know the cliche of kobolds are that they tend to serve dragons. Dragons tend to kind of bully them. They're the minion of, right?
I mean, I'm only familiar with the kobolds from Warcraft, I guess.
All right, so in most fantasy settings, they're servants of dragons. They're bullied around by dragons, and they're pathologically servitile creatures. I had the idea that they're basically dragons can't survive without them, and they're more or less the creatures that may or may not have, they're the flesh crafters of dragons. Dragon goes, I want wings. Kobold goes, cool, we'll make you them. And the implication is they're the ones who keep the species alive.
Hmm.
They're the ones who, when dragons want eggs, they can create new eggs for their alchemy.
Hmm. Yes, I was picturing them as being sort of the car mechanics of the fantasy races.
Yeah, but only if they like you. And if they don't like you, they will basically cripple you with curses.
Hmm. Nice.
Oh no, we accidentally gave you a second head, and the second head doesn't like you.
All right, it's been an hour.
Got it.
You feel like wrapping it up?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's been really great to finally come back, and it's great to
It
finally
has.
hear you. It's finally great to finally hear your voice again. Uh, so like, hopefully we'll be back next week. I'm actually going to be trying to crank out as many pages as I can, like drawing up the pages I've written for my comic. I'll see how that goes, and so like I might have time to do this next week, but we'll just play it by ear. How's that sound?
I think that sounds good.
I think that sounds good too. And until next time, whenever that may be, I've been Tony.
I've been Zach.
And this has been the Monkey Bar.